Hello and welcome to the Understanding Narcissists YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me. This video is going to kind of kick off it may be a series, I don't know. Just as my attempts to answer some questions regarding narcissists throughout their entire lives. Narcissists are people. They have different stages of their lives just like we do. To a certain point. What is the kind of evolution of a narcissist throughout their life? Now, I've had the fortunate and unfortunate experience of seeing narcissists at, from what I can tell, most stages of life. Gosh, even maybe from toddler to adolescent, to young adult, to middle age, and narcissists who are seniors. Different generations, different people, different backgrounds. Some related, some not. And I definitely see patterns. Those patterns are mostly bad. Unfortunately, the trend, and this is the same with a lot of I dare say most emotional dysfunction, if not all of emotional dysfunction, is that it gets worse. So let me say the natural thing, kind of the elephant in the room, which is that narcissists are not really treatable. Let's say theoretically you have something that you can apply, some kind of method, whether it be talk therapy or maybe pharmaceuticals, drugs, that could abate this bad trajectory, that could help them in their disorder. It would be really hard to get them to the point where you'd be able to help them. First of all, narcissists excel in talk therapy. It is a game for them. It is fun. It is not something that is used to work out their problems. It is a tool to refine their manipulation. It is a playground for them to try out new things. It is not something that really gets them better. I have never seen it work. I wish it did. Though there are some exceptions to that, but by and large, it is unhelpful entirely. And possibly detrimental because, as I say, it kind of helps them get into the swing of things. It kind of helps the full narcissist wheel get turning, because it puts them in a prime situation to manipulate and to get better at manipulating. But you and I know, probably, that when it comes to treating narcissists, let's say if you had some kind of treatment, how are you going to get it to them? You're not going to get them to admit they have some kind of problem and then take something. That would mean that they're crazy and then there's something really wrong with them. So that's really out of the question. I know that seems a little bit cumbersome for me to bring that up in this video, but I do think it's a necessary thought experiment you have to consider. It may very well be something we have to encounter in the future. There's no reason I can find that narcissists are untreatable. It's just, as of right now, we don't know enough. And that suffices on that topic. So this whole sort of life cycle thing, their development through their lifetime, how are they going to differ from other people? How do they encounter things? Well, fortunately, this side of narcissists, as a lot of sides of them, it's pretty simple. Where narcissism is complicated is in the illusion itself, but the actual disorder is not that difficult when compared to just looking at anybody else who's not a narcissist. In that way, they're much simpler than everybody else because they have all these constraints. They have this very strict pattern they're going to adhere to. That static, fixed pattern sticks around. And not only sticks around, it gets worse. They get worse as they get older. I would dare say that children and teenage narcissists, and to some extent young adults, but less so than teens and kids. That group is more complicated than the adult narcissists. The middle-aged, the seniors, they're fixed. They're set. Everything is kind of already, it's almost predetermined. When you know them, you know what they're going to do. You can basically see the rest of their lives. Their lives are not going to change or be redirected by them. It's going to be by circumstances. Now, the circumstances may have to do with them. Say, for instance, they will dissolve the family unit and they will be without a family and they'll have to figure something out. That's their fault when you really look at it, but it's also something that they didn't really foresee or anticipate for the most part. But you can foresee it. You can see it coming from years, decades away, especially when you know them really well. You'll know how things are going to play out for them. The confusing part is life itself and the circumstances. Now, I want to get into, just cover briefly, because I kind of want this to kick off a series on the life of a narcissist, if it's useful, if you find it valuable and you enjoy it. The natural question that arises, which is, why do they get worse? Well, they get worse, simply put, because they cannot get better. They have no way of getting better. And that is because of the path they are on, the forces that are directing them, they're inclined to only get worse. There is no good to come out of it. It's kind of like, what? The dark side in Star Wars? I'm not a Star Wars geek, but I do enjoy watching the franchise on occasion. And notice that when they get down that path, it's and dysfunction in general, it's self-reinforcing. They have some kind of problem. They invest themselves in this method that is dysfunctional. And it spurs that dysfunction on, and they do it more. And the only thing that narcissists really do is become more competent at being narcissists, especially by themselves. It's sad to note that a strong family unit and a lot of stability and good influence, it's not going to fix them. Let's say that they're broken, they're narcissists, but by some grace of luck or higher power or something, they are blessed with a loving family. Lots of narcissists are. That family can't save them, but they can make things better to some extent. If there is some forcefulness in really holding steadfast to healthy values, the narcissist can kind of benefit from that. They can benefit from the hard work and to some extent, I guess, the love of others, the support of others in a semi-functional family or just adjacent to a functional family that can give them some, I won't say relief, but stability in their lives where they're not just descending into madness further and further. It's not entirely necessary. Now, the inevitable end is that they're going to destroy all of that. They're going to lose it because they're not putting anything into it. Okay, it's just by the charitable giving hearts and intentions of others, of those around them who are trying their best, being very generous with the narcissist, that the narcissist has anything at all. They aren't really responsible for it. Everybody else is working for it. The narcissist is destroying it. The narcissist is taking it. But they're people, and they have a human element to them, even if it's not always on display. And that's going to benefit and reassure them in some ways. The healthy living, the healthy values, the support of a loving family. That's really the reason narcissists can function in the first place. They can pull it together for a short period of time by themselves in order to get by, but they have to have those kinds of people around them, you, to support them. Period. There is no exception. And the thing is, we kind of abate their problem because we can kind of stem it. We can kind of give them something. I'm kind of going off here. I don't want to say be role models. We provide some kind of bedrock, some kind of cornerstone and foundation so that they're not just in this raging sea of their own issues. because that's always directing them to more control, more manipulation, less reassurance, more fear, more anxiety, a more fragile self-esteem and low self-worth. If you can call it that, it's probably more complicated than that, but I think that that is sufficient. And what happens over their lifetime is that it's really an attempt by us to stem this problem that they have. But it gets worse because it's self-reinforcing and it's not going away. Now, I also want to point out, and I don't think it's necessary to point out, how well narcissists can hide things from you, how well they can appear to be functional when they are most certainly not functional and things are terrible. But as I go into maybe these different life stages, because I do think there's some useful things here and there that you might like, that you might find valuable, to see how their lives kind of unfold. There are differences. There are sort of epochs, different eras of their lives, and I think it's useful. It's something I've really overlooked. It was really after I got questions that I started to realize this is a significant thing, and it's interesting to look into because I like to think about it as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it if you do. Share it with somebody you think might benefit from it. Comment on the comment section below on your experiences and what you think narcissists do over their lives and at different stages of their lives. What you think might be relevant to this discussion in this possible series. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye.